All right, welcome people out in Zoom land and Facebook land. Here we are. It's Martin Pea, Lance Luke. Excited to continue our webinar series presented by Expert Media Matters. And who is that? Well, that's a social media marketing consultation company that Martin and I own. And we have a lot of fun. Actually, we give out more free information than we charge people. So we better revise our business plan so we can actually make some money. But these webinars are free too, and we do it as a public service to help business owners and mostly small business owners and entrepreneurs. And I've been presenting this, and Martin's been the IT guy in back office handling um, the electricity and all those good things. And so it's been a lot of fun. And today's topic, we're talking about marketing success depends on effective public speaking. It's not really a public speaking webinar per se. It's not even a 101. I think it's like a 0.05 maybe, but interesting things. So the reason why we're doing this is to help small business owners and entrepreneurs build, manage, and market online. So not only do we offer our social media marketing series, but we spice it up with general business things that would be helpful, that really doesn't have to do with social media, but it's more marketing, such as public speaking and press releases and things like that. So welcome, those of you who are attending. I know we got people from all over Hawaii, United States, and the world, and it's fun because the topics that we talk about, especially social media stuff and marketing, applies to any type of small business. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in San Francisco, New York, or Paris, any other country around the world. The principles are the same. So let's go right into it. The slide says Public Speaking 101. It is actually not really a 101, as I mentioned before. It's kind of like an introductory to public speaking. And what is public speaking? It's basically just talking to people. Talking to people out in public, although it could be a private conversation, like if you're meeting or talking with a client or customer in private, that's considered public too, because you're speaking and communicating and engaging in conversation with a customer or client. So you can call it what you want, but it's basically conversation. And even this webinar is conversation. It's public speaking, although it's private, but we open it up. So it's considered public, and it's just engaging in conversation. Now, you probably heard before, there's two main types of communication and conversation. There's a one-way and there's a two-way. And then the one-way is just, you talking to somebody. Like if you're the boss talking to one of your workers and the worker's not responding to you because you're just telling him or her, here's what I want you to do today, here's your assignment, and the guy or gal walks away, that's one way. It's one person speaking, the other one's not. Two-way is if the boss is talking and then the worker says, oh, just to be clear, boss, this is what you want me to do. That's two-way. The conversation goes back and forth. And two-way conversation is actually the best way. Because remember when you were a kid, it was mainly one way. When you got in trouble and your mom or dad starts scolding you and you don't say anything, that's one way. Okay, so let's continue on. So in order to give a presentation, and when I say presentation, it doesn't have to be like this elaborate speech that you're preparing for a seminar, or maybe it's just a room full of colleagues, or a room full of clients or customers, or even if it's one-on-one, like if you're a mortgage broker, insurance salesperson, real estate agent, um, a lot of times it's one-on-one, or one with a husband and wife, or two, or a small group of people. It doesn't matter. These concepts are the same. It's the same principle. And what you have to do is actually prepare what you're going to say first. So let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going to meet with a client, and uh, they contacted you because you're a mortgage broker, and they're looking at getting a loan to buy a new house or refinancing their existing house. Okay, so you don't just go and meet with them unprepared. You got to have some kind of script, even if it's in your head. But the best thing to do would be to write it down. And if you do that, then it's very helpful, because when you actually engage and you go and see your clients, you're already prepared, and you're not having to guess what you're going to say, or kind of like go all over the place and not in a strategic order. So the deal is, you plan, you prepare, you practice, and you perform. And this has to do with either one-on-one, or you're giving a group presentation, or you're speaking on a large stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people. It's the same, and it's what I do. And now, what did I do before I went on this webinar? Did I prepare anything, or am I just talking story? Well, I'm talking story, but the story is based on previous preparation and previous planning, and uh, practice. And then the performance is actually live, what we're doing now. So, and this applies to uh, any kind of thing having to do with performance, not only speaking. And musicians have to do the same thing. Actors, actresses have to do the same thing. If you're not into sales, really, like a car salesman or anything, and you have a service, not a product you're selling, it also applies to a service provider. If you're meeting with a client, and you want to have the client engage with you, your services that you offer, such as if you're a chiropractor, you have a service that you provide, massage therapy, that kind of thing. So it's pretty much the same. It's just the content is different. So the objective is to prepare, and get everything in order, so you sound intelligent, you sound like an expert, you sound like you know your stuff. And once you plan and prepare and you're ready, then the next step would be to anticipate questions. And I'll talk more about that later. But if you're solid in your preparation and your presentation, it's a lot easier to ask questions, even if it's left field or out of the blue. If you're not prepared, and you're going to be stumbling, and then you're not going to look as professional. Okay, so those are the tips that I'm giving to you today. Preparation is the key. There's 4 P's: plan, prepare, practice, and perform. And if you don't do one of these 4 things, then it's gonna turn out maybe not so good. Like if you plan but you don't prepare, okay? Or if you don't practice, okay, that could be an issue. And even the most skilled speakers on national stages and international stages do these 4 things. And I've talked to this guy, Brian Tracy, who has a whole management series that he offers on how to give seminars, how to speak, and all that. And he charges like $100,000 to speak for 45 minutes. Even he follows the 4 Ps. Okay, so if you're not as good as him and you think you don't have to plan, prepare, practice, perform, then I think you're not thinking correctly. And here's the rules of the floor, and I call it the floor because when you're speaking, the person that's speaking has the floor. So when you're the presenter, you have the floor. It doesn't matter if you're standing or sitting, but that's the terminology. Even if you're giving a one-on-one presentation to somebody to maybe buy a car or buy a house, you still have the floor because you're the one doing the talking. So the 4 key rules here is fluency, vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. If you try to practice these things and every day or when you can, because the better you can talk and use good grammar and good vocabulary and pronounce your words correctly, the more intelligent you're going to sound and the more like an expert you're going to sound. Now, you could be an expert at something, but if you don't come across correctly, the perception is going to be that maybe you don't know what you're talking about, although you really do. So that's a key point. Also, you make eye contact with the person you're talking to. Don't, look in the sky or look up at the ceiling or look down at the floor. You have to do eye contact, and that's serious. So the person on the other side, if you're looking at them while you're talking, it's more of a connection than if you're looking at somewhere else. Unless you're looking at your notes, then that's acceptable. But when you're looking at notes, don't put your head down and start reading off it for 5 minutes without making eye contact. So just be aware of that. Also know your audience. Who is your audience? You gotta do some research first before you start talking to these people. For instance, if I'm selling real estate and I don't do any research and people call and said, I wanna look at some houses, we're interested in. Oh, okay. You have to ask them qualified questions, because if you don't, you go pick them up and you go see open houses and there's a story about that, and you show them. Right now, there's not too much inventory. Let's say every weekend you pick them up and it's a couple and you show them houses and they're never interested in any of them. And then you ask the question, oh, by the way, we've been looking at open houses for 4 weeks now, 4 weekends, and it's in your price range. What, I want to know what the situation is. Like, how come you guys aren't interested in buying? And they said, oh, we're not interested in buying. We just want to look at houses. So you have to know your audience so that you don't waste time. What are their hot buttons? What are their concerns? And with that knowledge, you may have the upper hand, and it's easier for you to make the sale. The other thing is, stand up or sit up straight. If you're giving a presentation and you're standing up, don't slouch, put your hand in your pocket to jiggle your keys or start fooling around with your hair or whatever. And then also, if you're sitting down, sit up straight, no slouching. And, you kind of look like you're serious, and then it's a more serious conversation. So that's what I have to share for that one. Rules of the floor, there's 5 tips, and we're going to go through those tips. And remember, this applies to whether you're giving a presentation to 2 or more people, a room full of people, or you're on a national stage. You're also applies to one-on-one. Okay, so the first tip, number 1, is limit the words from your PowerPoint slides. If you're using PowerPoint, okay, most of the time, if one-on-one, there's no PowerPoint, except I've been to situations where the person meets with me and they have their laptop and they're showing sort of like a PowerPoint or something to that effect. And the worst thing, or one of the worst things, is when I attend seminars and there's a PowerPoint slide and it's in black and white, not color, and they use a font size that's super small. You need like binoculars to even read the words, and they got the whole screen full of words. Um, can you even read it? No, it looks like they posted a newspaper article, on their PowerPoint. So the words are too small, the words are too many words, and people get turned off. So if you here's a good example. Look at this slide here. Rules of the floor, 5 tips. Number 1, limit the words from your PowerPoint slides. That's it. That's all simple. And then I have images, color images, and it looks appealing, and people want to actually look at the slide. Okay, so limit the words, don't make it too wordy. If you have to get the message across and it's too wordy, split it up into 2 or more slides. Okay, so that's number 1, and that could go a long way. Number 2, speak up, speak out. Now, when I say speak up, I'm talking about when you use your voice, you have to engage the people who you're talking to, and your voice can't be monotone and it can't be soft. Okay, and that's why I say speak up, and speak out is enunciate your words and speak so that people in the audience can understand you. Or if the person sitting across the table from you, if they can't understand what you're saying, you're gonna lose them, and they're not going to be listening to whatever else you have to say. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is control your voice. And I'm not expecting you to be a ventriloquist, uh, like a talking horse, like Mr. Ed, if you're old enough. But control your voice is that you don't get too excited. And sometimes people get nervous, excited, and they start talking too fast, and you can't really understand them. You kind of like lose what they're saying because their voice is like a really high pitch, and they start going off and on, and you just kind of can't concentrate on listening to them. The other thing is that you have to speak loud enough for people to understand you, and don't whisper, because right now I'm whispering now, and can you hear me? And then a lot of times when you whisper, the other people get irritated and like, what did you say? Can you repeat that? Turn up your microphone or turn the volume up in your voice, because you're not coming through. If the person in the back of the room can't hear you, then you're not talking loud enough. And if you're in a big room and people aren't going to be quiet, okay, even if it's a small room and people are talking or they're fidgeting, or you hear papers or keys or a pen clicking, that's distracting. And you're giving a presentation, and people have to deal with listening to all this other extraneous noises, and they're not concentrating on you, or they can't hear you, even if you speak up a little louder. But if your voice is soft, then that's already irritating. It's like, I can't even hear. So if you're in a situation where there's a microphone, make sure you test your microphone and the volume is louder than you may want it to be, just in case your voice starts getting softer, then people can really hear. Because if you have your microphone loud enough, you don't have to go right up to the mic and talk. So if it's loud enough, you can stay a little bit away. And let's say if you're talking for a long period of time, your voice gets kind of tired and it's softer. If you go closer to the microphone, your volume will be the same. You're not going to lose anything. So control your voice. Don't get too excited, and then your pitch starts getting higher and higher, and then don't get nervous where you're talking too fast. Okay. Also, number 4, know your topic and facts. The worst thing is when I go to a seminar and I'm interested in the subject matter and the person up there is talking and I realize that they don't know what they're talking about, or if they do know what they're talking about, they're quoting facts. And I know the information that they're saying is factual, that they think is a fact, is not really a fact, because I already know what the truth is. So I'm listening to them and going, boy, that person doesn't know what they're talking about, because that's not really true. And then credibility is lost, because I came to this seminar to hear this person talk, and if he's saying stuff that's not true, why am I to believe anything he says already? Now, this applies to one-on-one. So if I'm sitting across the table and you're trying to get me to buy something, and you're giving information and you're quoting facts, but I know the facts aren't true, what you're saying. I don't want to call you a liar, but I'm saying this isn't true, and you're misrepresenting the situation. And I'll give you an example. I go to buy a car, a brand new car, and I'm talking to the salesperson, and the salesperson says, yeah, this car gets 50 miles to a gallon. And I was saying, are you sure? He goes, oh yeah. And I said, can you clarify that? The 50 miles per gallon, is that like country roads, or is that like driving in the city of New York? Because it can't be driving in this. Oh, no, that's like open road on a freeway. I said, okay, so what is it in the city? Oh, I think it's like 30. Okay, well, there's a big difference there. So I get irritated when people don't tell the truth, or they kind of bend the truth. And so that's just me personally, but you never know. I'm kind of receptive, and I listen. I listen to what people are saying, and then if things aren't true, I just call them on it. Say, no, that's not really true. Number 5, be the expert. If you're the expert and you have speaking ability with authority, that's more believable, and people are going to tend to listen to you. Okay, and because you're already coming in with the knowledge and the perception that you know your business, you know your product, you know your service, and you know the details, and you can answer whatever questions. And what I like to do is, when I give live seminars, I give my presentation, and after I open it up to Q&A. To me, that's the best part, because I'm very challenged by the questions, and I have to be on my toes, and I'll give them the answer. And another tip is, if you don't know the answer, don't BS. Don't just make up an answer. Just say, oh, sorry, I'm not sure of the answer, but let me find out and then get back to you. And the second part of this is, when you tell them, let me get back to you, you better get back to them. Okay, don't forget, because you're gonna look bad. You're gonna look like, hey, the guy I talked to said he didn't know the answer to the question, which is okay. But then he said he'll get back to me, and he never did. Oh, that guy's a liar. How can I trust him? He's not very responsible. So you don't want to be that person, right? Okay, moving along. Here's something else. The rules of the floor. Say it right now. You say it right. There's different things about saying it right. Like I said before, do not talk too fast, because if you talk too fast, people aren't going to understand what you're saying, and they're going to, whoa, what is this guy saying? I don't know. I'm confused. Can you repeat everything you said after said, good morning, my name is Lance Luke. I'm here to give a presentation. And you're like, whoa, what happened? And then don't talk too slow. If you talk too slow, people just wait and wait and waiting for you to finish the sentence, and then they just lose it, where forget it. I can't listen to this person because he's talking too slow. I'm listening as a rabbit and the guy's talking like a turtle. Um, we don't get along. And then also no jargon speak. And what is jargon? Jargon is like not perfect English per se, but it's skewed. Remember, the Valley Girl, there were these Valley Girl talks, and the Valley Girl talk, I actually was entertained by the Valley Girl talk, listening to these Valley Girls. And I had an opportunity when I went to California, and I guess they came from California, some Fernando Valley, or some valley in California. That's where this whole thing started, and all these girls started talking the same, and it's weird. But I was entertained because some of the things is like OMG or whatever, or totally, like totally last year, and they use the word like a lot, and like, oh, uh, way cool. They use the word way too, and like, and it's interesting because they use the word like, and they use the word whatever, and a lot of times it might go like whatever, and to me it's humorous, it's entertaining. But then after a while, especially when they talk too fast and they're chewing gum, it's like, hello, what did you say? It's almost like a dialect. And the other thing is like how to talk like a hippie, and the hippie talk is like slowed down because they're stoned, um, and it's everything is slow, and it's like, hey man, what's up, man? They use the word man a lot. And so if you grew up in the hippie days, actually, if you go into some areas, you find some people that still talk like that. Like when I went to Kauai, there's a bunch of hippies, and I mean the hippies were in the 60s, 70s. I think hippies came after beatniks, and to this day there's still hippies out there, and they just talk the same. Okay, and then the other jargon is local, and you can only find this kind of talk in Hawaii. Okay, and you got these words, like you have to understand the words if you're local, like mahalo, choke, broke them out, how's it, Raja rat, the kind, bye, and it's like, hey, what you going surf today? No, bye, but the big word, the big waves, oh, choke, bro. It's like, oh, well, excuse me, what did you just say? I can't understand. And it's funny when you get these tourists coming in and they try to talk local, and I have to laugh, but like they're walking down Waikiki, and they see the trash can and it says mahalo, right? And they go, oh yeah, I know Hawaiian. Mahalo, yeah, that means trash. It's like, oh yeah, okay, you're right. So anyway, when you're giving a presentation, try not to talk in these dialects or these styles, unless, now, if you have a client or customer and it's a local person and that's how they talk, then it's okay for you to talk like that, provided you can talk like that, okay? If you're not versed in Pidgin English or local and you're talking to a local, do not talk like that, because then it's embarrassing, not for them, but for you, okay? So kind of stay in your own lane, and the best thing is just to speak almost perfect English as you can. And I don't speak perfect English myself. And sometimes I get excited, I talk, and then the words don't come out. But that's acceptable. But it's all about presentation and communication. If the person on the opposite side that you're talking to can understand what you're saying and you guys click, then you accomplished it, because the know, like, and trust factor is going to be there. If there's communication and they don't know you because they can't understand what you're saying, how they're going to like you, and they can't trust you, especially if you're giving them information and it's not true. Okay, so be very aware of those things. How are you going to be the authority on speaking, trying to sell your product or service, if you don't know what you're talking about? Or if you're talking to the person and they say, "Oh, I have a question." Okay, they ask a question and you give them the answer, and they're like, that's not the answer. That's not even true. The worst is if they start questioning you and arguing with you. No way, you know. And lately, because of the pandemic, there's been serious arguments regarding vaccination, whether you actually need to be vaccinated, and there's all these myths and government conspiracy theories and all that, and it's like kind of crazy. But I'm kind of going off the subject here. But anyway, um, I'll give you some helpful tips you can use today. I already kind of gave you speaking tips. Make sure there's good communication and you speak with authority. You're the expert, because if you know what you're talking about, chances are that client or customer wants to deal with you, because like, oh, I want to work with this person because they really know about surfboards. I'm interested in surfing, and I don't know what kind of board to buy, what size board, what the use is, what, is it going to be a single skeg or got the 3 skegs, how to wax it. And if the person comes across that is very knowledgeable, then you kind of tend to want to deal with them, right? And that applies for anything. Okay, so we're down to the EMM Lucky 7 tips for marketing success. And marketing success depends on effective public speaking. And even if it's one-on-one, or you're speaking to a group of 4,000 people like I did when I went to the mainland and talked to a realtor group. And by the way, I was kind of nervous because I never talked to a group that big before. Okay, so, but what helped me was I was totally prepared. I rehearsed my presentation. Fortunately, it wasn't a situation where there was Q&A. I was just given 45 minutes to speak, and then I'm off the stage. So I had to really know, my subject matter, what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go into the Lucky 7 tips for marketing success, which has to do with public speaking. Or, forget the word public. Let's just talk about speaking. And people actually, you speak every single day. Even if you talk to one person, or you talk to your pet, your dog or cat, you're still speaking, right? So it doesn't matter. Just being able to communicate. And it's all about proper communication. You want to keep that channel open. As a small business owner, you're going to depend on speaking. You're going to depend on conversation, because that's how you're going to get business. That's how you're going to sell your service or product. If you don't speak, how do people even know what you're thinking and where you're coming from, or that you do know what you're talking about? Okay, so plan, prepare, promote, perform. Those are the 4 P's. There's actually 3 P's: plan, prepare, and promote, and then perform. Okay. When I say perform, the perform could be rehearsal, could be you practicing, or it could be, when you go live. The other thing is control your voice. Make sure you talk in an even manner, not too fast, not too slow. Don't get too excited where you start talking, your voice gets higher and higher, and next thing you know, you're Mickey Mouse. That's not good. If you need examples on voice, try listen to the radio or TV, and you listen to these newscasters, and you on the radio you listen to these news broadcasters and see how they use their voice and all that. That's a tip. Now, radio is a little different because the people on the radio, unless it's live stream, no one sees them. They're just in their little booth in their studio talking, and you just hear them on the radio. The newscasters on the news, they have to have good voice mannerisms and they have to look good. Okay, so it's a little harder. And then, of course, if you're an actor or actress, or you're giving a live presentation, you gotta employ all those different tips. And the other thing is know your topic and facts. That's a must. Even if you're the best speaker in the world, if you don't know your topic or facts, you're gonna be a flop, right? So that's part of being prepared. That's part of planning. You really got to know your subject matter, because when you go and talk, guess what? You're a subject matter expert, or you're supposed to be. Even if you're talking to a client and you want to sell them life insurance, you have to be the subject matter expert. You have to know everything about life insurance, because when they ask you questions, you better be able to answer them, because if not, it's like, they're not going to look at you as a subject matter expert. Then why would they even want to deal with you? Okay, it doesn't matter if it's a life insurance, if it's a travel agent, or you're selling a wedding planning package, or you're a photographer. Doesn't matter. It's all basically the same. Do not talk too fast or too slow. Kind of even, where people can easily understand you. Do not use jargon speak. The only time you can use jargon speak is if you're telling a joke or it's humorous. Then you can kind of act like that person talking. Or there's another time where you're talking to a group and they all speak the same. Then you kind of fit in, okay? And then stand up, sit up straight. You just don't want to be, crouching down or going like this, or you don't want to look boring. So if I'm giving a presentation and I'm trying to sell a product or service, even if the client or customer is slouching or whatever, you don't want to do the same thing. So in other words, you don't want to like go like this. And here's, well, thank you for meeting with me today. We're going to talk about your, burial plan that you have for, our cemetery. And you can choose different things that you want. And even if the subject is like kind of a down subject, don't make it like that by your actions or how you look or how you, your posture, your body language. Okay. And then be positive with energy. Even if you're not an energetic person, you don't have to go rah rah. Here's what we're going to talk about today. Is I'm excited. It's part of your personality. If you're not an excited person, don't fake it to the point where this person is like, what happened? Did he drink like a cup of coffee and two Red Bulls or something before he came to meet with us? Jeez, this person is flying high like a kite. So every personality is different. Like me, I'm more of a mellow person, and I'm not. In the beginning, I was never a public speaker. I trained myself and I learned from other people. So I wasn't. You're not born to be a public speaker. Although some people are automatically, when they're born, they can talk and it's good conversation. So some people are natural, they have a knack for that, but not many people do, and not many people like to speak. When I'm in a room and I'm giving a talk about public speaking, I raise my hand and say, how many of you folks like to actually get in front of an audience and speak? And then out of 100 people, maybe 2 people, but those are the people that I say, come up and give a 1-minute talk about anything. I don't care. and they do it great, and it's amazing to see that. But other people, when they ask a question, they're looking down. They don't, want me to call them and said, "Oh, did I see your hand raised?" And they're like, "No, I didn't raise my hand." So it's like either you pay taxes or you public speak. Which one? And they're like, "Oh, I don't know. They're both bad." So it's interesting. That's why it's fun. You just take it slow, like one-on-one, and then you get to develop your technique and all that, and then go broader. And that's why if you look at big corporations, big companies, and the president of these companies or VP, these people who are in high management positions, guess what? Guess what they have in common? They all are able to talk and talk good. Like, these politicians, the best politicians, not like their service, but how they appeal to the general public. They're good orators. They're good talkers. In the early days of Roman Greece, the people who could speak are treated like royalty because they have that ability. And it applies to today. These politicians that go and speak on the news and speak in person, they're actually good speakers, right? Or most of them, and you want to listen to them. Even if their platform you don't agree with them, they're good speakers for the most part. Okay, so what else do we have here? What you missed? Well, we have provided a whole bunch of webinars on the different topics that you can go to our website and check it out and watch them on demand. And due to lack of time, I'm not going to give you the whole list or right now, but you can go to our website, askmarketingexperts.now.site. And then also what's coming up, we got a lot of interesting webinars coming up. We're doing one webinar per month. And hold on, let me get my schedule here. So next month, social media marketing, do this, not that. And that's more about social media posting, how to get yourself out there, how to be known, how to get online, things like that. Also, video marketing, got video. We do a lot of videos. In fact, I'm recording this webinar and they're going to turn it into a on-demand video for later, put it on our website. Another webinar is press releases. Are you in the news? How many of you folks out there want to do more business, want to sell more products, how to want to sell more of your services? You can do that by putting out a nice press release that gets picked up by local media or national media. And I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming webinar. And here's one topic I'm always excited to talk about is becoming the celebrity expert in your field, because you are. Every person is, I consider, an expert. Even if you're an expert in your own mind, you have to sort of be an expert in order to be the authority. You want to be the trusted authority. And in that webinar, I'm going to be giving you tips on what I did to become a celebrity expert. What else? We got, oh, here's a good one. Write a book, give it away, make $150,000. That's my true story, and I'm willing to tell it in a free webinar. And then another one is make money by giving away free stuff, because almost everybody does it. And then in December, I'm trying to plan another webinar, and then we're having a holiday party December 20th. So the last year in the holiday party that we gave, Martin and I gave away, believe it or not, close to $1,000 of gift cards. And some people want a whole bunch, but we're not fooling around. We're giving away free things. just for tuning in, and it's so easy. I wish I could have won. Um, we have fun and games and all that, and we decided that these webinars are educational, informative, and all that, but scrap the webinar and just have a party, have fun. So, and this is during the pandemic too, where you couldn't go out. So, anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in. And let's see what else we have. Oh, we have a free digital business card for you. If you're in business, and I hope you are, I hope you stay in business, contact us for a free digital business card, online business card. We have free monthly leads for you. You get targeted prospects for your business for free. All you got to do is go to the website, ultimatefreeleads.now.site. No obligation. We don't take your credit card or nothing. We're not trying to promote anything. But every business can use leads, right? Even mine. So that's what we do it to help small business owners. And then we're nice guys. So we have 2 free business marketing books that we publish, and they're available online at Amazon if you want to pay for it. I mean, we don't mind if you buy it, that's fine. But if you don't want to buy it, you can download it for free. Just go to our website, askmarketingexperts.now.site, go to the publication section and download the book. It's an ebook. So promote your small business online today to survive. That's one. And then the other one is the Ultimate Small Business Game Changer. Promote your business for $47 a month. Unlimited websites, hosting, blog, done for you, social media posts, and a lot more. So once again, if you want to buy it, it's on Amazon.com. Otherwise, get it free. I haven't heard anybody yet to this day want to buy it rather than getting a free one, but who knows, that may change. Okay, so that nears the end. Open it up for Q&A right now, and I'll turn it over to Martin because he's the guy that is gonna, he's actually reading the information that people posting on chat or the Q&A on our Zoom platform. And then hopefully he'll check the Facebook live feed to see if there's any comments or questions. So I'll turn it to Martin.
Yes, Lance, I am here. And
Okay.
we had a couple of questions that's come in here, so I'll give you the first one. It's asking, I enjoyed your presentation. Terrific. We like that. And I would like to know more about public speaking. Do you have additional suggestions?
Okay, good. So along the line of the question, there's many books and tapes and courses online regarding public speaking. So I would just go and do some research and see what interests you. There's many people who actually have courses that they offer. Locally, there's a national or Hawaii Speaking Association that's part of the National Speakers Association that you can join and learn from them. And then I have a very dear friend who's actually a speaking coach. Her name is Pam Chambers, and I think the company is Pam Chambers Presents or something like that. But there's different people that offer coaching for speakers and for speaking. And there's Toastmasters and there's other associations too. So I would say do research. If you need more guidance, reach out to me. I actually subscribe to different speaking networks and to get more information. So good. I'm happy that you want to pursue your speaking, and you can just learn about all this stuff for yourself or business. You don't have to be. A lot of these courses say, be a professional speaker and make $100 an hour or whatever. You don't have to go that route. You can just learn from the information that applies to you in your own business. Okay, so if your intention is not to become a national speaker on the national stage or TED Talks and all that, you can still benefit from the information. And I had a job speaking nationally in different states, but with the pandemic, all of my speaking engagements got canceled. So that's why we started doing the webinar series. So instead of going out to those places, I'm just providing it and people can tune in. So thank you for your question. We have any others?
Yes, Lance. Yes. Good answer on that one too. Thank you. The next one here we got was, can you give an example of an elevator pitch for a boring tax preparer business?
Okay, so Martin, let me ask you this. What is an elevator pitch?
Elevator pitch. Well, that's just your intro in 1 minute, I think, of who you are, what you do, and why you're connecting. Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you're in an elevator and you want to give your pitch, and you're a boring CPA that only works with numbers, and you don't get out to see the light of day because it's tax season, and you're in your office, right, with piles and piles of paperwork and accounting information. So you turn it around, okay? Make it exciting. Say, hi, my name is Martin Pea. I'm a CPA. And did you know last year I saved my clients $100,000 in taxes? It's like, oh, okay. So turn it around and make it exciting. So you could apply it to any kind of business or service, but make it as exciting as possible and appealing so that the person wants to know more. Because if you go, I'm a CPA, I do tax returns, and hopefully your floor is coming up soon so you can get off the elevator and I don't have to talk to you or whatever. So turn it around. Think of something super exciting that people would want to ask you. Whoa, hey, tell me more. How did you? I mean, I want to save money on my taxes. So, that's something that you can do, and it just doesn't matter if it's boring or not. There's a way to turn it around so it's not boring. Any subject matter can be exciting if you present it the right way. So how's that? Oh, by the way, I had to file an extension because I have too many returns I have to do. How about you, Martin? I guess he doesn't want to talk about taxes. So maybe he'll have another question.
Hey, Lance. Sorry,
Okay.
I got disconnected there for a bit. Yeah.
Oh, are you back?
I'm back. I'm back. You're looking for the next question.
Yeah, I guess you missed out when I asked, is there another question?
Yes,
But
I did. I got disconnected on the site. But yeah, there's one last question I have here so far, unless there's others coming in. It was the question is, I was recently hired as a marketing person to do social media posting. Now my boss wants me to go out and meet with potential prospects for the business. I do not like to speak in front of people. Can you help me?
Okay, sorry. Hold on. I was charging my cell phone and then I kept getting these messages, these dings and all that, but I unplugged it. So in answer to the question, well, can you repeat the question? I got confused.
Oh yeah, sounds like you got distracted like me. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'll repeat the question. So I was recently hired as a marketing person to do social media posting. Now my boss wants me to go out and meet with potential prospects for the business. I do not like to speak in front of people, like a lot, yeah. So can you help me?
Yeah, easy. The answer is quit your job. No, I'm only kidding. So here's a situation where you were hired for one purpose, and I guess, and so your thought was you're hired and you're gonna you're going to be the marketing person for this company. You're going to, make social media posts for this company for marketing purposes. You're going to go to these social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, maybe TikTok or Pinterest or whatever you're using, Reddit. So that's what you're thinking is you're going to work at home or you maybe go to the office and that's it, right? It's easy to go online in front of your computer and make posts and, submit and, click and it appears online. It's a lot harder to give the same message one-on-one to potential clients or customers, okay? But you can go back and review this webinar on demand. Another tip would be you just start slow and, don't see 4 people, 2 people a day, maybe see 1 person a day or 2 at the most, and just have short conversations with them over coffee or tea or have a snack or whatever. I don't know if your boss wants you to go to lunch with these people, but start off small, start off very simple. You might want to do make some cheat sheets or do sort of like a PowerPoint thing and just make it easy so that when you go into the meeting, you have, this visual aids that, can help you. If you don't know all the information, the visuals will definitely help. Yeah. Even if it's like 1 or 2 pages and it's a show and tell kind of thing. So start off slow and you just you gotta remember that the conversation is one-on-one. It's like you in your living room talking to a friend. That's how you should look at the situation. And you're giving your friend advice. And of course, you're supposed to be marketing for your company and doing kind of a sales pitch too, but you can't make it come across like a sales pitch. When people feel that they're getting, sold to, then most of them turn off, right? And they don't want to listen anymore. So keep the conversational, more down to earth. And, a good tip is instead of just meeting them and saying, hi, my name is so-and-so, and sit down and say, now here's what we're going to talk about today. You might have leading questions like, oh, by the way, what kind of thing do you do for work? Or if you already know, oh, what are your hobbies? And or do you like the weather we're having or something? Okay, don't go directly into the topic. Kind of start off like breaking the ice, so to speak, initially for the first couple of minutes, and then once they get to know you and like, oh, this person is, seems to be personable, then they would be willing to open up to you, for real. Otherwise, they're guarded. A lot of people are guarded at first, like, oh, well, first of all, why did you want to meet? Secondly, I already have life insurance. I don't need anything more. But then maybe you sell life insurance, but maybe you sell other things like annuities or financial planning. It's more a financial planning thing than trying to sell them life insurance. So there's different aspects to it. So you really gotta think about what your approach is going to be and take it very slow, and use your personality, whatever it is, and have it come out. And or you might ask your boss, hey, you know what, boss, can you can you and I go tag team together? I want to see how you do it, and then you can learn from there. Maybe go on 1 or 2 appointments with the boss and see how the boss handles it, and then you can take your lead from there. So hopefully that helps. If not, call us and we'll give you more tips. So Martin, we have any other questions or comments?
No, Lance, I think that's all I could find on our Zoom or our Facebook.
Okay,
But,
good.
good job.
Well, I know that Facebook, after a while, there's comments that people would post. So we'll check that occasionally. And I know that time's up. So on behalf of Martin and myself, we thank you for attending. And we hope to see you at the next one. And by the way, don't forget to pick up our free stuff, because we don't know how long we're going to be offering those free things, because I'm Chinese and I need to make lunch money. So anyway, we'll talk to you guys again. Aloha.